Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Is this an example of what you had to wake up to in the morning?
Okay, clean up and...
That was not every single day. That was one time. That was one party that she took the picture of, and I cleaned it up the next day like she asked.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Nicole Rain claims she covered her roommate's half of the rent for 2 months, but says the defendant refuses to pay her back. Ms. Rain is suing May Gibbons in the amount of $1,200. Ms. Gibbons claims Ms. Rain's excessive partying caused her to lose income, which is why she couldn't pay her rent and still refuses to do so.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Third, Deputy Thomas. Ms. Rain, you're alleging Ms. Gibbons didn't pay you 2 months worth of rent.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Gibbons, you're saying because you couldn't stand living with her.
I mean, not just that, I couldn't afford to pay the rent. Lost a lot of my business because of her and the living conditions.
All right, let's talk about those living conditions. What was going on, Ms. Rain?
Well, I'm a club promoter, and it's my job to have people...
Now, it's funny. You look like you would be the club promoter. Because you're looking a little bit more conservative. So you're a club promoter, typical like nightclubs and spots, things like that?
Yeah, nightclubs, yeah.
Okay. And you've been doing that for how long?
2 years.
And you were doing that when Ms. Gibbons became your roommate?
Yes, and...
You were already in the apartment?
Yeah, I was already living there. My friend had just moved out.
All right. How long had that friend been living there?
6 months.
And was any particular reason why she moved out?
No, she just decided to move back home.
She decided to move back home. Did you sign a 1-year lease or a 6-month lease?
It was 6 months, so I needed to find someone else to come in and cover.
You had been in the apartment for only 6 months with the previous roommate?
Right, yeah, we were friends from college.
Prior to that, where were you living?
I was living at home.
You were signing a new lease, Ms. Gibbons. Is that when you also signed a new lease with her?
Yes, sir.
All right. The two of you are both on a lease for 6 months. How did the two of you meet?
I actually contacted her on Craigslist. I was looking for an apartment. She was looking for a roommate. And I do hair, so, you know, I was like, oh, she's got good clientele with celebrities. We can maybe get some future business. You do hair, meaning that you're I'm a hairstylist.
You're a hairstylist.
She's an at-home hairstylist.
She's an at-home hairstylist.
Hairstylist, nonetheless.
Well, did you know that initially?
Yeah. The people that she brought home to our apartment weren't exactly... her clients weren't exactly high-class people.
But people nonetheless paying for a service that I was providing.
Okay.
Which prior to me moving in, we had already agreed. She knew that I did hair.
What was wrong with the people?
They were smelly.
Okay.
They looked like they had just walked in off the street. I don't know what exactly she was, doing with their hair. But I never really talked to her about it because it wasn't any of my business.
It didn't bother you to the point that it was a deal breaker?
No.
Okay.
Not
it
at all.
showed in her behavior with how she treated my clients that would come over.
How did she change in terms of her behavior?
She was very distant, very rude, very as if she wasn't my roommate, like she didn't live there.
Well, if you're there to get a service performed, according to what you just said,
correct.
Does it even matter what she's doing or her interaction?
Well, since we had already agreed that the living room would be like our joint space,
Was the living room to be the joint space?
Yeah, that was the common area.
And we also agreed that that would be where I would perform my hair duties.
And it was also where we agreed that I would have people come and stay over.
When we agreed into the lease, she told me that there would be a couple people coming over occasionally, and I was okay with that. But it got a bit obsessive.
What does that have to do with her being a club promoter?
Oh, there were people that were leaving from work. They would leave when she got off work and would come over and continue to party, play beer pong, have drinks, talk, or whatever. Which I was okay with.
You were aware that that's what was the deal. You told her the party sometimes continues.
Before we signed the lease, while
the
she was
after
over.
Party sometimes ends up here.
Exactly.
Sometimes,
that's exactly
being
what
the
I
key
told
word.
her.
Not every night, Monday through Friday.
Did you tell her this is what the deal is every night?
I don't remember if I specified every single
she
night.
did not.
Well, she does remember, and she's saying you did not. Typically, what time were these parties ending?
They would sometimes go
5,
on
6
until-
o'clock in the morning.
I
They
don't-
would
I
come
don't remember
sauntering
that.
in at
No.
1:30, 2
Actually,
o'clock.
I was talking about the club promoting parties. At the club, would they be over? I mean, because during the week...
1:30, 2.
Yeah,
1:30?
like 1:32, and then some people would come over and
A
we'd
lot
have
of
a few
people would
drinks.
come
So
over.
people are coming over
Yes.
at 2 in the morning.
Yes.
Not leaving at 2
Yes,
in the
and
morning.
I told her that. And
Leaving
I told her
the club,
that.
going to the
What
house.
time are the hair salon customers arriving?
People were coming in at around 9 and 10. That means I would have to wake up early enough to make sure that the space was adequate for the people coming over. There would
When
be
the
people
people
naked.
were coming in from the initial party at 2, what time were they leaving?
6, 7, some of
I'm
them.
talking to her.
Sorry.
I mean, it depended on who it was and what we had been
On
doing.
average.
Around 6 in the morning.
Okay, that's a lot.
Coming up on America's Court.
Is this an example of what you have to wake up to in the morning?
Okay.
To clean up and
That was not every single day. That was one time. That was one party that she took the picture of, and I cleaned it up the next day like she asked.
And later,
There was miscommunication. There was either he didn't communicate with me, period. When he said he was going to move into the storage unit, I told him to call me, and he didn't.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Nicole Rain, who is suing May Givens for unpaid rent.
Your job was being a club promoter, not
Yes.
being a hostess at 2 a.m. in the morning.
That's how I promote my clubs, and that's what I told her before she signed the lease.
In that situation, then, and you're expecting someone else to just be okay with that, and she was telling
She
you...
seemed okay with it at
But
first.
she wasn't.
Well, that's
That we
her
know.
problem if she...
I
Well,
was
but
aware
not only
that-
is it her problem, but now we're dealing with the issue of the quiet use and enjoyment of your abode. I mean, because if I'm living somewhere and my roommate is partying every night until the wee hours of the morning, and I have to get up first thing in the morning to perform a service so I can pay the rent, that's going to impact my ability to pay my portion of the rent.
No, and I understood that.
And at that point, that's when you said, I'm out of here.
yes, it was unbearable. Within the third month that I was there, I had made maybe roughly $230 that month from hair appointments. And this is a business that I was making anywhere from $1,000 to $1,400 a month doing hair at home. You know, the issue with the salon and why I wasn't in the salon was because they want a portion of what you make. And I'm really new in the hair game, so
Yeah.
it wasn't, I couldn't just, okay, let me
Well,
give you enough off top.
Here's the problem, though. You're probably also not operating with a license.
I actually do have a business license to operate at home.
It was okay with the
Mm-hmm.
apartment people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see that. Yes, I'd like to see. You have any evidence for me, Ms.
Yeah.
Rain?
I do.
I'll take a look at that. All right.
I have the lease and the checks.
Did you give notice before you left, Ms. Gibbons?
I actually spoke with the leasing office,
Did
and
you
that's
give
how.
written notice?
Yes, that's how I was able to break the lease. The conditions, the apartment was not kept up to the conditions that were parameter for me signing the lease.
What is this picture of all these
This is-
cups? Is this an example of what you had to wake up to in the morning?
Okay.
To clean up and
That was not every single day. That was one time. That was one party that she took the picture of, and I cleaned it up the next day like she asked.
she actually didn't clean it up the next day. I actually woke up at 6 o'clock that next morning because she was still asleep. There were people that were asleep on
Right,
the
because
couch.
everybody had just left. She's got to get some rest.
Right. But it's like, unfortunately, when her work is ending, mine is beginning.
Well, wait a minute. If you spoke with the people the landlords, and they allowed you to exit the lease, that doesn't make sense to me because they still made you cover the full amount.
So it wasn't until the fourth month that I spoke with them. The third month, I tried to talk to her, and I was like, I don't have the money to pay it.
She told me
And
she didn't have the money, so I said, okay, I'm going to pay this month. I'm going to pay for you because I wanted to avoid the late fee.
I never told her I was going to pay her back.
Oh,
Well, wait a minute. You signed an obligation to pay them.
I did.
Well,
and that was based off the conditions that the apartment was left, that it was...
But you were still living there at that point.
Correct.
All right. So the month that you lived there, did you pay?
No.
Okay, that's a problem. She covered for you. And did you give her 30 days notice?
no.
No, I spoke with the leasing company within the fourth month because
Okay,
that
and you
was...
spoke with
I
them.
had to go back home.
But did you give anyone written notice and
Yes,
say
that's
this?
why I was able to break the lease and
Where
she
is
was
the
able to find
document
someone.
saying that you gave written notice?
It should be in
Because
there.
if they gave you notice, no, I see your business license, I see some texts.
I don't know anything about this. All I know
These
is
are
that she
texts
told me.
to Ms. Rain, right?
No.
No, those are from my clients. Those are clients that I've lost because
Okay,
of.
so you lost the clients. We still need the notice, and you still had a month's rent that you didn't cover. This is the picture. You have the lease.
As far as I'm concerned, she has 2 months' rent that she hasn't paid.
That's what you're suing her for, the $600
Yeah.
for the 2 months.
Yes.
I get
month
it.
3 and month 4.
I get it. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, gavel comes down in favor of the plaintiff. You owe her for that money. You got to give her 30 days notice. You got to at least try to minimize the
How
impact.
can you pay
on
the
her.
money if you don't have it?
It's not my problem.
Then you can't rent an apartment.
Well, if,
I know it's an amazing concept.
Well, if
you know
we-
how it works? It's funny because landlords go, "This is my property," and you say, "I want to live there." They say it costs them the amount. If you say, "I don't have it," they go, "Oh, guess what? You can't live here."
well, her covering the month 3 and month 4 was
you
not discussed with
completely
me. With
ignored what I just said.
I heard what you said, but what I'm
Good.
saying is, how do
Judgment
you
will be in
pay?
favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200.
Okay.
That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,200.
Maybe if she had spent less time focusing on my lifestyle and more on her clients, then she would have made enough money to pay her rent.
I'm happy to pay her the money instead of having to live with her. Good luck to her future roommates.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
There was miscommunication. There was either he didn't communicate with me, period. When he said he was going to move into the storage unit, I told him to call me, and he didn't. I finally called him.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Corrine Dale claims she asked her cousin to fix up a dirt bike for her son, but it was auctioned off due to the defendant's unpaid storage fees. Ms. Dale is suing Eric Ramsey in the amount of $879. Mr. Ramsey claims Ms. Dale had several opportunities to pick up the bike after it was finished, and she never did.
Ms. Dale, let's talk about this dirt bike.
Yeah. I bought a dirt bike November 2014 for my son
Yes.
as a graduation gift.
Right.
He was graduating from middle school. It was a little bit banged up.
You had Mr. Ramsey repair it. What's the relationship between the two of you?
He's my cousin.
Okay. So, cousin,
So she called me and said, "Can I bring the bike over and have you check out the estimate and see what it would cost?"
okay. And then
So-
what? And what
so-
price did you give her for an estimate?
$430.
$430. And you said you're good with that?
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
paying $879 is what you paid.
Yes, $879 is
And
what I
then the
paid
$430
for the motorbike, for the bike itself. Yes, and then $430. Actually, it was $436.
How long did it take for you to repair it, sir?
So she told me by June, when her son graduates junior high, because this is for her son, that it would be needed
And
to
when
be
did the
done
conversation take place?
then. So early November. So it's about 6 months period.
The agreed upon amount was $430. You said $436.
Yeah,
Yes.
436.
It was $436.
Yeah.
And what was the time frame that you needed to repair the bike? Clearly,
So-
you didn't need 6 months.
No, the 5 or 6 months is plenty of time, and I had the money. So I finished the beginning of April.
All right. Why did it take you from November through April to get the bike finished?
So at the end of November, I was going through a girlfriend situation. I had to.
What's the girlfriend situation you were going
So
through?
I got kicked out of my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
So-
when you say girlfriend situation, I'm like, what's that?
And so I told Corrine that, it's probably, I have to put all my stuff in storage and I might not have room for this bike. So it might be a good idea to come pick up the bike. So
Was that in November, December, January? When?
December, I started using the storage unit.
December, you're using the storage unit, and the bike is a part of the storage unit. And then I take it at some point between December and April, you were able to take the bike out and do the repairs you needed to have
yeah,
done.
I told her I could do it at the
You're
storage
done
unit.
in April. What takes place in April as to why? Because if the bike is done, you can pick it up and you've already paid for it. What happened in April?
So April comes along and I'm telling her the bike's done. It's ready to be picked up. I need to get to my
part.
other stuff
I'm
in
going back to
storage.
you, Miss Dale. Why?
April was just really busy. I couldn't get away from Barstow in April. I can't just drive down to Los Angeles all the time.
Coming up on America's Court.
There was miscommunication. There was either he didn't communicate with me, period. I told him to call me, and he didn't. I finally called him.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Corrine Dale, who is suing Eric Ramsey for property loss.
Is the bike also part of what's in storage?
Yeah, it's with all my stuff.
Okay, and then something happens with the storage.
Yes. So I go, beginning of May, I go because I go to check the storage unit. I know she's going to come in a few weeks, so I go there and they tell me that I owe 2 months rent and late fees.
Well,
So-
you already knew you were behind 2 months. They didn't need to tell you.
But I had been making arrangements with them, making payments because I
Right,
I
and
was
those
already going-
arrangements included you being behind 2 months.
Yeah.
Because there's no arrangements to make if you're just paying on time.
Yeah, so they told me it's 2 months, so it's $155 a month plus $20 each month of late fees, so $175 each month. I gave them $350.
Yes.
And then they tell me that I owe 1 more month's rent and late fee for the first month, even though I chose this place, this facility, because it says first month's free rent, right? So now they pull up this fee on me, and the gate is locked, so I can't get in my storage unit because of the late fees.
Because you ended up losing everything
I
in
lost
storage.
surfboards, guitars, clothes. All of my stuff was in there. I was couch surfing, so it's all
Don't
my
even care about the other stuff.
and the
All I
bike.
care about is the bike.
Yeah,
Because that's what also was lost. Correct?
But you see, I'm doing work for free. She knows my situation. I've
How
been
are
going
you
through a hard
doing work
time.
for free? She gave you $436.
That's only for parts. I'm doing the work as a favor. So the way I'm seeing it is, she knows my situation. She had 2 opportunities to come pick it up when I said, yo, I'm getting tired, not sure if I'm going to have storage room. And then when I said, yo, it's done, you have a month early, at least a month early for pickup time. So it's done, you have this opportunity
Again,
here.
each time though, each time, there was miscommunication. There was either he didn't communicate with me, period. The first time when he said he was going to move into the storage unit, I told him to call me, and he didn't. I finally called him the Sunday after he moved it into the storage unit
Okay, so
to ask him if he could fit it in the storage unit.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff. I was not aware that the 436 was just for parts, because he did nothing from a standpoint of any gain regarding the bike itself. So there was no benefit of the bargain other than doing this for you because you were family. At the same time, I'm sensing that there's a little bit of irresponsibility on your part. I'm also sensing that you know that. Your judgment will be for $275. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $275.
I guess I'm glad that I got some of the money back, and I definitely learned a lesson today. Next time, I'm trusting a professional, not an irresponsible family member.
I can't believe I fixed her bike for free and still have to pay her money. I finished the job early and she should have picked it up when I told her to.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.